Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Toyota Corolla car. The Toyota Corolla enjoys huge popularity all over the world. The Japanese have sold not only tens or hundreds of thousands, but also millions of units. Can the 10th generation of the famous compact still boast the highest level of reliability? Nothing relaxes mechanics at work like a Toyota with a petrol engine under the hood. It is an almost ideal combination for those who value peace and quiet and infrequent visits to the mechanic above all else. However, it must be remembered that Japanese petrol engines, which are almost the ideal of reliability, also have their weaknesses. Fortunately, in the 10th generation of the Corolla, they are limited to only a few minor equipment failures. The most common failures are the lambda probe, alternator, and sensors, for example the crankshaft position. In the 1.6-liter engine, premature damage occurs to the valve regulators. You can't count on good performance. The basic 97 horsepower version accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 13.1 seconds. The most powerful 132 horsepower version does it in 10 seconds. It's not bad, although it could be better. The 1.4-liter diesel has even worse performance than the base petrol. The sprint to 100 km per hour takes ages, 14.8 seconds. The 2-liter version is much better at accelerating the Corolla, 10 seconds, and the illusion of better performance is enhanced by a decent maximum torque, 310 Nm. Unfortunately, the more powerful D4D diesel engine has many serious drawbacks, starting from typical diesel ailments such as turbocharger and injection system failures or a clogged particulate filter, and ending with a burst head gasket and excessive engine oil consumption. McPherson struts in front and a torsion beam in the rear are the best of modern solutions when it comes to durability. After driving a Toyota Corolla, you won't be thrilled with traction in the corners, but at least you won't have to spend a lot of time at the mechanic. The design is simple, so there's almost nothing to break. There is a choice of a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 5-speed multimode gearbox with an electronically controlled clutch. Corollas with such a gadget are rare. Unfortunately, this unusual gearbox changes gears rather slowly. Safety? At a very high level. In the Euro NCAP crash tests, the Japanese sedan received a sensational result of 5 stars. As the legend goes, Toyota owners visit service centers only to change filters and fluids. "I've never seen a broken Toyota" was one of the advertising slogans a few years ago. Unfortunately, nothing is perfect, and even in a Corolla, an unpleasant surprise can happen. To avoid problems, before buying, pay attention to the condition of the steering gear, which can make disturbing knocking noises. The bearings of the manual gearbox and the clutch are also not very durable. Be sure to check how these elements work during a test drive. Another weak point of the car is coolant leaks. The cooling system can sometimes leak. Due to the low engine cover, it is very easy to damage. In some Corollas, the first traces of corrosion are already appearing, most often on chassis elements. The brake system elements are also not very durable. Users of the Japanese compact complain about the need to frequently replace the standard pads and discs. The solid suspension deserves praise for this. Driving 100,000 kilometers without any replacement is no problem, although some units have minor faults. The dashboard is noisy quite often. This is the result of poor quality plastics and their poor fit. There are also cases of damage to the radio display. The Toyota Corolla E140 E150 is a car that can be criticized for many things: the lack of a distinctive design, dynamic engines, or excellent driving characteristics. However, it certainly cannot be accused of being faulty. Of course, breakdowns do happen, but so rarely that you won't even notice them. Provided that you decide on a petrol-powered engine, the high level of ergonomics also deserves praise. One can complain about the low quality of the materials used in the interior, but this is not a luxury limousine. The biggest obstacles to buying a 10th generation Corolla are primarily the high prices of used cars and expensive spare parts. Fortunately, they do not have to be replaced too often. Which models are worth choosing? Certainly not post-accident cars imported from the United States or fleet cars that have been used to the limit. It is better to avoid them. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.